I do want you to know I have an amendment. If the amendments can be passed out, I would appreciate it. And I think we probably need to move the amendment as soon as is feasible, Madam Chair. But this is an act relating to elections requiring in-person voters to present identification before voting, providing for free identification cards to be issued by the Motor Vehicle Division of the Taxation and Revenue Department in case of indigency, providing procedures for challenging a voter's identification, amending, repealing, and enacting sections of NMSA 1978. I have with me my expert witness. She is Maria Rodriguez from Las Cruces. She has been the special project coordinator for the last Secretary of State. She was the project coordinator for southwestern New Mexico. She served in that capacity over 2 years, and she has worked as a paralegal in that field for over 25 years. So Maria will be my expert witness.
Let me give you a couple reasons why. I've served as a clerk and or a judge for many years in Albuquerque, working for the Bernalillo County Clerk in many elections. And in those capacities, I have observed a couple cases that I want to tell you about of attempted fraud that were caught. I want to tell you about a case of actual fraud. It's going to be very brief. Okay, first case of attempted fraud. A young lady came up to the registration table to vote. She gave a name. The poll worker who was working the table looked up, and very quickly, this person is very good on math. The age, the last 2 digits on the birth year that were on the register versus the young lady standing in front of the poll worker says, "I'm sorry, you can't possibly be this person." The young lady admitted she was there to vote for her grandmother. I was there. A second case, an elderly lady came into the school. We had 2 precincts. This lady came in and she said she was confused as to which precinct she should be voting in. So the presiding judge said to the lady, "Do you have your voter card that would give you your correct precinct?" She reached in, and I was there. She pulled out 5 voter cards, different names. Presiding judge says, "I'm sorry, you know, how do I know who you are?" That's okay. That was 2 cases of attempted fraud that I have observed. Let me tell you about the actual fraud I know of. An acquaintance of mine went to the polls early one morning, and someone had already signed her name. And so she says, "I'm sorry, that's not my signature. I was not here." So she filled out a provisional ballot. That's the process. So after the election, the normal process, she found out her provisional ballot was rejected. Her vote was stolen. I don't want my vote stolen. As we all know, IDs are required practically every day in your life. Let me tell you, when I went to my senior citizen center to join my senior citizen center in Albuquerque, I showed them my photo driver's license. They took me to another room, took my photo, and made me a photo ID to join my senior citizen center. So, this is a citizen's issue. It's not a partisan issue. And I'll give you one more example why I feel that way. 2003, I participated in a petition drive in Albuquerque for the City of Albuquerque elections for photo ID. I went out in my neighborhood, it was my previous neighborhood. It was heavily Democrat. large population of Hispanic. I did not care. I went door to door to door to door. I got easily 500 signatures supporting this petition. So I do not believe this is a partisan issue. And I feel that to vote, it's a citizen's responsibility. We should not burden a poll worker with trying to detect voter fraud, because in many cases, I gave you a couple, it's impossible. Just one more quick comment. I feel the current voter ID requirements issued by the Bernalillo County Clerk's Office, and I'm assuming these are the same issue or instructions that are provided throughout the state. The part that gives me heartburn is a person can self-identify. They can walk up to the poll, to the registration table, give a name and a address, and that poll worker has absolutely no way of knowing, is that person really that person? Okay? My closing comments, you can never have good, honest government until you have good, honest elections. Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Crawford from Los Lunas. I'm an interested citizen and taxpayer. And, you know, I have to show my picture ID to get my own money out of my own bank. And now, just as of this week, if I wanted to get a court record, I'd have to show a picture ID to get court records involving my own record. And, you know, if I go into Staples and buy something, I have to show a picture ID to complete my purchase there. So why shouldn't I have to show a picture ID to vote? You know, voting is our most important and sacred ritual in this country. And so why shouldn't we have to prove we're a qualified voter and the person who we say we are? I act as a precinct presiding judge, and you'd be surprised, but most of the people that come through the door have an ID out already. So I don't think this would be an imposition on people at all. Many people expect to be able to show an ID. And a picture ID would cut down on the vast number of mix-ups of misspelled, mispronounced, and identical names.
That you're dealing with this session is the budget. But apart from the budget, the next issue everywhere was voter ID. I listened, and it truly did cross party lines, cross racial, ethnicity. People around the state said, we need voter ID. As I discussed and had discussions with many of them, we talked about the issues that we deal with in committee all the time, issues of procedural issues that we need to deal with. But I want to tell you that I believe voter ID is necessary because of the integrity of the election process. I'm not here to talk about voter fraud or those issues. That's a separate issue in my mind that the Secretary of State, I am charged with by the citizens of the state of New Mexico to deal with. And I, as your Secretary of State now, will include, have included the voter fraud issue in the realm of what we're doing in the Secretary of State's office. But voter ID to me means not just instilling, but assuring voters in this state that we have integrity in the election process and restoring and instilling confidence in the voter when they go to vote. So voter ID to me is about integrity in elections. So let me just share a couple of things with you. First of all, we've dealt with the issue of the purge process in the state. Someone mentioned this, and I want to just share this with you because I have had discussions with the county clerks, whom I believe, and have said this throughout the year, I truly believe these are the experts in the field. These people work tremendously hard and do a great job conducting elections in the state. I've visited with them, I listened to their concerns, I know they have concerns, but let me just share this little bit with you. You as legislators in here, elected by your constituents, are here to set policy. You've done that for years. We, in the Secretary of State's office, we as the county clerks are required and obligated to implement the procedures once you set policy.